Hi everyone, how are you all? Today I want to talk about this book which I am reading right now. And this book has 112 meditation techniques. And technique number one is the one that Buddha also used for his enlightenment. So we will also discuss that. But to give you a brief, this book is a dialogue between Shiv and Parvati, where Parvati is asking Shiv like what is the meaning of life and all these questions, and Shiv is not answering it theoretically. He is basically giving her techniques that if you do these techniques, then you will figure it out by yourself. So that is what I want to discuss today. So the technique number one in that book is, you basically, whenever you breathe, right, if you notice, you breathe in and then there is a pause, then you breathe out and then again there is a pause. So just try it. Breathe in. So there are two pauses, two gaps. So the technique number one says notice the gaps. Now you might be thinking, oh, this technique is very easy. Like, how can Buddha use this technique to, to reach enlightenment? But it's not easy to notice your breath. So when I continued reading more chapters, I realized, first of all, when we breathe, our breath is so shallow. It doesn't even go to our navel. Ideally, when you breathe, right, you should see your stomach expanding, right, and then contracting. But nowadays we have started breathing so shallow. And when you breathe, like, can you actually feel your breath? No. Whenever we breathe, we can feel the organ, like our chest is expanding, our stomach is expanding, but we don't really feel the breath. So that is what the technique says. When you start practicing this, just spend maybe 10 minutes a day and just notice your breath. Don't try to focus on the gap, because otherwise your mind will be lost. Your mind will be thinking, okay, now the gap will come, now the gap will come. So it's not really focusing on the breath, but just sit for 10 minutes, observe your breath. And when you start doing it, initially you will observe all your body expanding, all the movements, breath when it touch your nostril. And sooner you would actually start focusing on your breath. And then once you start noticing your breath, then you will be able to feel the gap. And when you feel the gap, that is the point where we have to reach. And it took Buddha a couple of years. One interesting thing that this book mentioned is difference between awareness and attention. So awareness is different, right? When we are basically closing our eyes and for 10 minutes we are focusing on our breath, that is attention. This book is not talking about attention, it is talking about awareness. For example, if you're taking a walk and you're talking to a friend, you are aware, right? You are walking, the movement of your legs, and you are also talking. So this book is saying we have to practice the basically observing our breath, but we would reach a state where we are aware of our breath. We don't have to focus on it, and we are always aware of the gap. And it might sound tough, like if I'm observing my breath, then how can I observe other things? But this book also gave this analogy. For example, if I ask you to maybe focus on a person's nose, you are just focusing on that person's nose and you're not able to see their eyes, their lips, or all other features. But if I ask you to focus on a person's face, like when you zoom out, then you can also notice their eyes, nose. So basically it's also about zooming out our awareness, where we can focus, we are aware of multiple things. So try this technique, and if you are also interested in reading this book, I'll link it in the description.